Today I am going to be showing you guys how to achieve a glass-like finish on your dice, like the D20 in this video, using zona paper and a vibratory tumbler. Let's get to it! The first thing that you will need is a set of zona papers. I use the first three, which is the green, the gray, and the blue zona. I do use a number of different materials throughout this video, so feel free to pause and take a screenshot of the material list. So the first thing that you are going to want to do is add some water to the top of your pottery wheel and place your zona paper on it. Once that is done, you are ready to start sanding. I typically sand the low face on all of my dice and all of the adjacent faces to the low face. For the green zona, I sand each face of the dice about 10 seconds or for 10 rotations around the pottery wheel, and then I take a microfiber cloth and wipe away the water just to make sure that all of the faces have been sanded adequately. And here is a bit of a closer look at the D4 that I just sanded. As you can see, the finish on it right now is quite matte. For a little bit of perspective, it does take me roughly an hour to sand 4 sets with the green zona. I won't torture you guys by making you watch the entire hour of sanding with the green zona in real time. So we will just skip past that and start on the gray zona. For the gray zona, I sand each face for about 8 seconds or 8 rotations around the pottery wheel. I don't have to worry as much with the gray zona that I am getting to the edges with the sanding paper, as the green zona has already sanded down the face for me and made it nice and level. So the sanding for the gray and the light blue zona is a lot quicker, about 15 minutes per sheet for 4 sets of dice. And here is another close-up of the D4 after I've sanded it using the gray zona. There isn't much of a noticeable difference quite yet with the dice, but you will see after sanding with the blue zona that a little bit of the shine has come back to the dice. The sanding process for the blue zona is the same as the gray zona, so I do sand every face 8 seconds or 8 rotations around the pottery wheel. It is crucial that you don't skip any of the zona papers in this process. This is because each zona paper is a different grit, and each paper is meant to get the scratches out from the grit before it. So if you were to skip the gray zona, you would not get all of the scratches out from the green zona. And here is another close-up of the D4 after sanding it with the light blue zona. As you can see, the shine on the dice is starting to come back. Once you finish sanding all of the dice to the blue zona, you can get ready to put your dice in the tumbler. For the tumbler, I use the quick and easy vibratory tumbler. It was, I believe, $90 retail Canadian. So I actually have some dice in my tumbler from the other day. So the first step that I do is take the lid off and take all of the dice out of my tumbler. The dice are usually pretty dispersed in the media, so I usually have to dig quite a bit through to find all of the dice. Once I find all of the dice, I take them and I give them a quick wash under some tap water. I do wash my media every second day, as the polish does get worn down. So my process for doing that is just dumping all of the media into a bowl and quickly scrubbing the inside of my tumbler clean. Then I take the media and I put it into a sifter and I wash that under tap water until it runs clear. I use about 5 pounds of 3mm ceramic spheres, so I'm unable to do all of them in one go, and I normally sift in 2 batches. This process is relatively quick. It takes me less than 5 minutes to clean out my tumbler, and it's really easy to clean the media. Once your media is all clean, you can pour it back into the tumbler and we can start the tumbling process. You are going to want a good quality polishing compound. One brand that was recommended to me by another dice maker named Foxy Poxy was the 3M Perfect It brand in Step 1 or Part A. I am not entirely sure why, but my bottle comes in a tan color. The bottle that you can get off of Amazon or that you can get from a auto body shop is in a purple bottle, and it's called a rubbing compound. You are going to want to take that polishing compound and place a few drops of it into your tumbler. I don't have an exact measurement, but I just kind of eyeball it. Once you do that, you can turn your tumbler on, and you're going to want to let it run for a few minutes so that the polishing compound can disperse throughout the media. I did end up adding a little bit more of some watered down polish, and that got it spinning good. Then you are able to add the dice. I just toss them on the top, and the media moves enough that it is able to take it and put it underneath it. I usually give it about 15 seconds, and once I can see that the dice are getting tossed underneath the media, I put the lid on and place a towel over it to reduce the noise. I leave my dice running in the media for 36 to 48 hours. Some dice makers can do it in 8. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how they do it, but this is the process that works for me. Once those dice are in the tumbler, I bring the 4 that were already taken out of the tumbler upstairs, and I place them in my ultrasonic cleaner with some water and a little splash of LA Awesome cleaner. Fast forward about 10 minutes, and I take all of the dice out of the ultrasonic cleaner and place them on a microfiber cloth to dry. Sometimes I will take the cloth and I will dry each of the dice individually, and other times I will just lay them out on the cloth and let them air dry. And now we get to see the final product of the process. I didn't have the best lighting to show off how shiny the faces really were for this D20, but you can still see how shiny the one face is, which is one of the faces that I do sand. As you can see, the faces that were sanded are virtually scratch-free and have a very glass-like finish to them. Perfecting this process has taken me a few months, but I finally got it down a couple weeks ago and decided to share it with you guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I will be posting more tutorials in the future.